Ecstatic Bliss. Secrets to living a juicy life. I often talk about soul-aligned identity, which I name so because I feel it is the purest identity that we can embody and live and experience while being still here in a human incarnated body. Yeah, it is an identity that is closely aligned to your energetic blueprint. We need an identity in a way to also see us still as a separate being, so to say, to switch between human and soul, or between a separate entity and the ocean of oneness. And soul-aligned identity is also living from your very essence and truth. But that doesn't negate to explore different identities so that you can experience and expand yourself. And that is actually automatically happening, obviously. We transition through multiple identities throughout our life so that our soul can experience life and itself from multiple angles, from different perspectives. And you will also notice that with each identity you transition through, you will not only broaden your consciousness, your awareness of what reality is, but also activate different aspects and gifts even of yourself. You will rediscover something that you bear inside of you already. So identity shifting is a big part of this earthly game to experience yourself. And if we neglect or negate that, we would even, I guess, feel much less sense or purpose in life. So when I talk about soul-aligned identity, it is much more about being aware when you act in alignment with your soul or out of alignment. So to say, out of alignment on purpose because you want to explore something deeper of yourself. And when to switch back to being truly you, being truly in your essence. So that it is at some point a conscious choice which identity you play with. And that is the key. That is always the key. And you have probably heard me talking about it multiple times throughout my podcast episodes. It's always understanding a concept so that you can consciously use it to your own benefit, so to say, for your own purpose. The soul, or more precisely consciousness, always plays with identities through you to experience different perspectives. And it is in a way also like actors in a movie. We also play here different characters in this big eternal movie of life. What you may notice is that oftentimes these identities are actually collective archetypes, such as, very simply said, the child, the mother, the father, the brother, the colleague, the whatever job you have, but also the far more deeper archetypes like priestess and priest, princess and prince, king and queen, and so forth. And these archetypes are collective templates, so to say, for identities we can transition through and make use of. If we think about a little bit more in energy again, an archetype or identity is a collection of labels that make up an energetic signature. And with this energetic signature, you can vibrate a specific frequency and therefore explore this field of energies inside of your body, inside of your whole system. These archetypes, typical templates of identities, we all bear them inside of us, all of them. But some are usually more activated, while others are more dormant. Some are more dominant or more relevant in this lifetime for you, and others less relevant or even irrelevant, so to say. And that also very much depends on which phase you are in your life. For example, of course, the mother archetype will come at play when you have a child or when you are birthing something as a creative project, for example. Or when you get older, you may much more explore the wise woman, the oracle, and things like that, or even dependent on what interests you have. Maybe you don't even resonate with princess and prince, or you don't resonate with witch and magician, or so that you exclude in a way from your belief system already some archetypes that you don't feel so necessary for your life, whilst you prioritize others because they feel more tangible or feel more that they make sense for your particular journey of life. And these archetypes, these identities, these templates we can draw from, let us explore our complexity also, how complex we are, the nature of expansion and limitless possibilities, because each identity also bears a whole way of how they think, how they behave and act, how they dress, what they do, how they feel internally also inside of you. That means with each identity, you explore, you expand, you remember, you activate, you integrate new traits and gifts inside of you that flow back into your entire being. Sometimes it's also remembrance from past lives even, when we really have been embodying an archetype in real life, so to say, like the priestess, for example. Very common nowadays, a lot remembering, priestesshood, I remember that, and living it now in a modern way or a new age way, adapted to our current needs. And all of this gives you a much more holistic view of your true nature, which makes us also realize I'm not one, I'm not a single identity, I am many. I'm so many parts, so many identities that swirl inside of me, that can even be activated in different scenarios or with different people. So you are many. And that can also be seen internally when we look, for example, at classical psychological theories and coaching methods. Very classic is the inner child and the parent, to use that for healing and transformation in personal development, to understand your internal landscape better and from there make more conscious choices. With this, I want to invite you to just have more awareness of that you can see identity from many different perspectives. Either you can use it to shift in something you really want to experience, or you can look, these I have already lived and this and that I have learned from it and integrated from it. Or you see I'm all of them. I can activate this identity when I'm in this environment or this in that environment. Or coming back to soul-aligned identity, when you feel like, I've played enough. I've played lifetimes this game of identity shifting. I've played so many times over and over again, the same archetypes even. And then it becomes boring. This game, it's like you have played a game too many times so that you already know the results, so to say, and it is not enjoyable anymore. And I feel this is, something that can happen when a soul is very old, already have gone through a lot of cycles, and then you have A, already integrated these archetypes, and B, seek to merge back into the ocean of pure consciousness, which means dissolving every identity. Because any identity restricts you as it defines you at some point as something, or negates all other things. So whenever you have an identity, obviously there's a collection of labels, and all other labels that exists for other identities, you negate it, which means you restrict yourself, your full being, your full true nature, so to say. And so at some point during the cycle of reincarnation, at some point there comes a stage where you are tired of playing this game, and then soul-aligned identity comes much more into your focus. That doesn't mean, again, to not allow yourself to explore identities, which naturally occurs, but to, after having played with it, to more and more, be aware of this is actually my true expanded nature, to sit more in meditation and expand your awareness of what nature truly is, what consciousness is, and have this back and forth game, as I already also mentioned in the last episodes a lot, to switch perspectives between your limited self that is restricted, always limited in perspective, and the all-encompassing nature of reality that is everything, that merges all identities back into a non-identity, so to say. We can also see it that way. And when you have no identity at all anymore, well then, actually, you are already dissolving yourself back home. It's death in a way. It's not only death for your ego, it's at some point death for your entire being. Because the human being, the human avatar, operates by having labels, by having an identity. To distinguish, okay, this is me, this is you, this is whoever. An identity is needed to operate as a human being in this plane. And to sum this up, identity is not a fixed construct, what we sometimes think, but a playground for soul exploration. You can consciously use identity shifting to shape yourself, to explore yourself, expand yourself, liberate aspects of yourself, remember, activate gifts and talents, and receive a more holistic view of your true nature, which is not one but many. And the soul-aligned identity then is that identity that is purest to your original essence. And maybe the last one you inherit in a way before dissolving back into nothingness. This is a short transmission today for you to remember how complex you are and that you can play with this complexity in different ways and explore, like a little child, to be curious about yourself, about existence, about this vastness of consciousness. And everyone is at a different stage. So you don't need to transition to a soul-aligned identity. But as I often say, in my opinion, a soul-aligned identity is most truthful, most honest, most fulfilling, because you feel inherently, okay, this is me. Or that perceived I feels, this is how I wanted to be identified in this lifetime. So in a way, also all other identities are part of your identity and also an approximation of your ultimate identity. And with this, I leave you for your own contemplation and journaling if you wish, or meditation, or even applied identity shifting. So much love and bliss. Soraya Ananda. If you feel the deep pull to walk this spiral more intimately, Soulgasm, my 6-month one-on-one sacred mentoring awaits you. This is a living embodiment of all I transmit here, but uniquely decoded for your soul. Enter the portal of ecstatic bliss and unleash your personal soulgasmic reality. All details and the link to book your vibrational match call are in the show notes.